Good morning, everyone. I'm Tami.
And I'm Tom. I was over here.
You were over there.
Yeah.
And we're the creators of the blog and this YouTube channel called Nutmeg Notebook. And this is where we share with you all about a whole food, plant-based lifestyle.
And we're here for the Nutmeg Notebook morning show.
Woohoo! It's a hangout.
I'm trying to be like alert, awake, ready to go.
We've been up for hours.
You know, we went to some lecture years ago. Think as if. Who was that?
Oh no, that wasn't a lecture. That was a therapist thing that a friend of mine had shared with me. Think as if.
Okay.
So, kind of like fake it till you make it.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
All right.
So we've got sound. We're good.
Yeah. Just
Jesse and Tiffany are here moderating in the chat. We're happy to see everybody that's here. Sia is logged on. Hi, Sia from Greece. We're happy to have you joining us. It's going to be a fun day. A lot of people already submitted a lot of questions, and so through email. So we're going to be answering those today. And if people want to ask questions in the chat.
Yeah, we encourage questions in the chat. Please give me 4 question marks before, and if you have time after. We're going to let Tami get through these questions initially. So if you want to think about what your question is and then go ahead and post that, then we'll trace back through and grab those later.
Yes.
And yes, Tammy's wearing a new dress today. Someone who's noticed they and I had the same reaction this morning. I went, "Oh, cute dress. Where's that from? When did you get that? Did you just get that?" No, I've had this dress for a long time.
I bought it last year.
A year ago. First time she wore it, first time I saw it. But it was just been in the closet.
It has.
That's how that works.
It is.
It's a good plan.
We didn't get to go anywhere last year. I never got to wear it. So today I thought, you know what? I'm gonna wear that dress today.
Yeah, your necklaces are pretty too.
Thank you.
So, okay.
All right.
Enough
about Tammy's clothes. Now I feel like our daughter when she was 5 in the birthday party and all the attention was on her and she just started shriveling.
Yeah, she didn't want all those kids.
Yeah, she didn't want all the attention. Everybody.
Her.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we are going to talk about Beet Boost today. We've been getting tons of questions about Beet Boost. So Tom's going to help me deliver the science about that in a little bit. There's a VitaMix flash sale.
Yeah, in the show notes.
That we want to tell you about.
Yeah, yesterday and today only. So that I will be taking that out, but we'll talk about that a little bit later about what that is for.
Yeah.
And then it's not in the show notes.
And then lots of questions here. So if you have questions for us, go ahead and submit them. Put those 4 question marks. Then your question, end with 4 question marks, so it'll pop out at Tom and the moderators.
Yeah.
And we'll try to get to everybody's questions.
Yeah, make a mental note because I have not composed a written one for you yet. Next Tuesday and Wednesday is Prime Days.
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, and it's Prime Day and Black Friday are the 2 days that they do the deepest discounts. And we have been receiving some input from some of you about things to look for from the Nutmeg Notebook kitchen and lifestyle that land on Prime Day. I have now received the list, so I can now correlate between the stuff we like and use and whether or not what items are actually on Prime Day formally. And so then on Tuesday, and we haven't set the time yet. We will be going live on Amazon Live to deal with the things that we recommend that happen to be on Prime Day. So that's kind of our next project, other than our usual broadcast next week. So be a couple of things going on next week that way. So mark your calendar.
And you have to be a Prime member. You have to have Amazon Prime membership in order to take advantage of the Prime specials that there will be. And some of them might last for 2 days. Some might be only for a few hours. It's all different depending on the product and the company.
While supply runs out, it's ever evolving.
Yes.
So we'll be on for a few hours on Tuesday morning, probably starting fairly early, to see what we can discover. So,
okay, well let's get started.
Okay, I'm gonna switch over to you and catch up with the chat. So let's roll.
Sounds good.
See everybody in a bit.
My first question is from Mary, and she said, looking forward to hanging out. and wondering if you could share some of your favorite ways to use zucchini. Thanks, Tami. So appreciate everything you and Tom do for the plant-based community. Have a beautiful day. Mary Jo. Thank you so much, Mary Jo. We love getting emails from you guys, and it's just so rewarding and motivating to hear from you guys, to know that you do like what we are producing and that you're learning from it and that it does have value. So that just motivates us to keep doing what we're doing. So thank you for reaching out. We appreciate it so much. So zucchini, I love zucchini, and I eat it a variety of different ways, and I know a lot of people grow it in their gardens, and we don't grow it. I just buy it, but lots of people have friends that end up trying to give away that zucchini at the end of summer because they have so much of it they don't know what to do with it. So the ways that I like to enjoy it is I have a spiralizer. It was an inexpensive one. I think it's under $20. It's on our Amazon affiliate page. And so I like to make zoodles with it, which is, the play on zucchini noodles, and then make my Alfredo sauce. We have a video, as well as you can print a printable version on the blog, and it's my vegan Alfredo. It's made with cauliflower. It's absolutely velvety, smooth, and creamy, and delicious. And so you can make the zoodles and then put the Alfredo sauce on the zoodles. I like to slice it and air fry it. It doesn't get crispy because I don't use oil and I don't do any breading, but I'll just put it in at like 400 degrees for maybe 20 minutes, and it just changes the texture and the flavor, and it's absolutely delicious. I also like to throw it into a stir fry. So I will just cut it in half moons and throw it in stir fry. And if you guys have watched my speedy salad batch prep video, no romaine, you know that my salad, pre-made batch prepped salads, can also be sauteed. They don't have any lettuce in them. And so I will take a zucchini and cut up a zucchini to throw in with the batch prepped salad and saute it, and then I will, just with water, no oil of course, and then I will put that over a grain and add a little bit of balsamic vinegar to it, and it's amazing. Tom puts a zucchini in his dump soup, which we've been having a lot of talk about his dump soup lately, and he will cut one up and put it in that. It's also absolutely delicious if you grill it. So I like to slice it the long way and then just put it on the grill. I also have a grill pan that goes on the stove top, and it's good on that as well. And so that's pretty much the ways that, and did I say, I was thinking it, but I don't know if I said it. I also like it just raw. So it's wonderful dipped in my ranch dressing or my Caesar dressing. So I'll just cut it into, coin shapes and dip it. And it's great with hummus as well. So that's a favorite of mine. So my nose is dripping. Pardon me. So that's how I like zucchini. Hey, you guys, why don't you give Mary some other ideas in the chat feed of how you like to use zucchini. So I think it's, it was funny. We went to a really nice restaurant one time with Tom's mom, and zucchini was like the side dish, and she was like, I cannot believe a nice restaurant like this is serving zucchini, because she just wasn't a big fan of it. Oh, I also have on the blog, I have a recipe for making zucchini with like a can of tomatoes. I just remembered that. And then some Italian spices. It's so good. So take a can of, it could be stewed tomatoes or just like the fire roasted tomatoes, saute up a little bit of onion and garlic, and then a can of the tomatoes, some chopped up zucchini, and then some Italian spices, and that is so good. You can have that over rice or on a potato. Oh, it's delicious. Okay, enough about zucchini. Then Karen, oh, I don't have my show up on here. I need to do that. Karen says, how did you kick, she has regained sugar, but I think she meant refined sugar in steps. And if you did steps, what steps? So I kind of, I was eating fairly healthy, supposedly, when I transitioned to whole food plant-based. And originally I was making some things with dates and that kind of thing. So I just wasn't having sugar because, you know, I wasn't baking back then. I was making a few of Dr. Furman's desserts, but I don't recall them having any sugar. I think they were like with dates. So the best way to give it up is just stop having it. Stop eating those desserts. You know, some people like to taper off, and some of us like to kind of go cold tofu. And I feel like if you want to stop eating something, if you just give it up completely, it's easier than if you're dragging it out. Because if you're dragging it out and you're still having things that are made with sugar, then you're still going to have that desire. It's going to keep that going in your brain, that addiction and the desire for it. So, but we're all different, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. But I feel like just giving it up completely for me, and you know, you're going to have maybe a week of still desiring things, but as soon as your palate changes, as soon as you neuro adapt, then you will be satisfied by fruit, and fruit will taste incredibly delicious and sweet to you. So and then have a clean environment, because the best predictor of your success in doing this is the environment that you live in. And not just your home environment, but is there junk food in your car? Is there junk food at work? Is there junk food at your girlfriend's house? You know, is there junk food at your mother's house? Surrounding yourself with a clean environment is going to be crucial, because we know that those highly palatable foods call our name, and they're extremely hard to resist, especially when we're first trying to give them up, because the memory is still there of it, and you know, we're hardwired to seek out the highest calorie density food for the least amount of effort, and so that makes it really difficult initially to abstain from those foods that we know that we shouldn't eat. That's why a lot of people go, I know better, you know, why can't I do this? Well, that's because we're hardwired to want that crap. So you just really have to work hard at having a very clean environment. So clean out your pantry, clean out your refrigerator, your freezer, make sure there's no hidden candy bars in your car. You know, do as much food prep as you can so that you always have healthy things around. And I think too, when you focus on, I'm gonna, you know, make really healthy habits, and I'm going to, you know, increase my overall health rather than I'm going to give this up so I can lose weight. It's much easier to keep making the right decisions, because dieting has a beginning and an end. And we always think, well, you know what, I'm going to eat whatever I want today, and tomorrow I'll start my diet. Unfortunately for many people, tomorrow never comes. They're always putting it off until the next day. So decide, you know, this is what I'm going to do. Maybe get a buddy, somebody that you can have as an accountability partner. It can be somebody that you've met in a plant-based group on Facebook, or somebody here in the chat. sometimes if you make a public announcement that, hey, I'm going to do this for a week, and you know people are going to hold you to it, and you have to be accountable to them, then that can also help. Keep a journal. They say that there's power to the pen of just writing down on paper how you're feeling, what you're going to do, what your goals are. That can be very powerful. So let us know how it goes. Then I got an email from Janice. That's my mom's name too, Janice. I love that name. And she says, I know that you have shared lots of your grocery shopping hauls, but what is your overall process like? Do you shop on the same day of the week every week? Do you go to the same stores? Do you buy certain items only at certain stores? Are you shopping for batch cooking items more so than individual recipes? I'm currently in a grocery shopping rut and trying to establish some sort of routine, which is difficult during these lazy days of summer. Thank you, Janice. Oh, great question, Janice. So we do shop once a week. We used to shop on Thursdays, but then when we moved our show to Thursday mornings, then that bumped it to Fridays. So now usually we shop on Friday mornings. Sometimes if we're doing something with the grandkids on Friday, then it might be Saturday instead. I like to go sometime between Monday and Friday just because our stores are less busy. The busiest day of the week for grocery stores, Costco and that, is Sunday because people are buying things and stocking up for the week ahead. So I do try to avoid going on Sundays. We have the same stores every week that we usually shop at. We go to Costco and Whole Foods, and then sometimes like maybe once a month or so, we go to Trader Joe's. Although Whole Foods has been out of some of the things that we typically buy there lately, so we've been going to Trader Joe's as well. And then we have a Sprouts, and sometimes we go to Sprouts. I don't usually go to just like a regular grocery store unless there's just something specific that I need. We know exactly what we need every week from the batch prepped salads, so that's just like a no-brainer. Some of that comes from Whole Foods, some of it comes from Costco. If Whole Foods is out of some things, then we go to Trader Joe's for it. We pretty much know like how many potatoes we need each week. You know, we buy about 6 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes, and then I buy the Japanese sweet potatoes, one for every day, some Hana yams, and some purple Stokes for Tom. So, and then we just check and see what we need. You know, do we need more onions? Do we need Brussels sprouts? So we do a pantry, refrigerator, freezer check before we go. We know the basic things that we're going to buy every week, and then whatever we're running low on, then we'll add that. I am mostly shopping for batch prepping and not specific recipes, but I'll check. Do I have dried pinto beans? Do I have lentils? You know, how are we doing on our supply of brown rice and our oats? So, and also if we notice during the week that we're running low on something, I have a list and we put that on the list. I make my list in the order that we shop at the grocery store. We always go to the produce department first because that is the bulk of what we're buying. And then, you know, Tom and I have certain things that I pick out in the produce department, and he has certain things that he does, so we divide and conquer because it makes it go faster. And then if I know that I'm going to be making a certain recipe, you know, like I made lasagna over the holiday weekend, and I knew I was going to make lasagna, so you know, I made sure that I had all the ingredients for that. So if I know that I'm going to be making a certain specific recipe, you know, ahead of time in the coming week, then I will purchase that. We also look at our schedule for the week before we go grocery shopping, so we have a good idea of what the week looks like and what we will be eating, and then we adjust accordingly. We know that if we're going to be getting together with family for an evening meal, we need to make sure we eat our chopped salad at lunch that day so that we get that chopped salad in. Or I might be serving chopped salad. And so then we'll go, well, we'll still be able to get our salad in that day. We try to look at everything so that we're not wasting any food. So anyway, that's what we do. Our grocery shopping is pretty simple. Tom eats the same breakfast every morning, which is oats, banana, blueberries, chia seeds, hemp seeds. I think he has soy milk in it or almond milk. So we know exactly what we need to have for his breakfast. I'm not a breakfast eater. My first meal of the day is lunch. We both do a chopped salad every day for one of our main meals. So we know exactly what we need to buy for that. And then our other meal is he's either making dump soup or eating something that I have made, some soup or veggie burger or whatever it may be. And we keep our freezer stocked with that, because whenever I make a lentil loaf or a soup or a chili or what have you, I'm making sure that I either double the batch or that it's something that fills my 6 or 8 quart so that we'll have leftovers that I can put in the freezer. So we always have that food going. And you can watch our batch prep video that we did day before yesterday. We did a 2-hour impromptu. I was batch cooking. Let's just go live. And we showed you how that typical batch prepping went. I did not happen to make any soup or anything that day because our freezer's pretty full of all of that right now. So great question. That's what works for us. I know everybody has a different method, and that's okay. Again, there's no right or wrong way. Just do whatever works best for you. Okay, another question from Sue. I buy a dozen bananas for the week to share in our morning fruit salad. The bananas usually ripen too fast before the week is out. I've seen online how to keep bananas fresh longer. This is done by wrapping the top stem with plastic wrap. Does this work? I don't know. I've never heard of that and I've never tried it. But hey, what would it hurt to give it a go? If anybody's tried that, let us know in the chat feed. She says, none of our fruit goes to waste. When the bananas are very speckled, I peel and freeze them for chocolate banana and ice cream. Awesome. And I peeled and froze a bunch of bananas in our live the other day when we did our live batch cooking. So that is all of those questions. The next one that I have, Tom, is all about Beet Boost and Spin Boost. So if you're ready for that, or is there anything? Okay. So, and Tom's going to help me with that. And first, I just want to show some things about it and talk about it. But Gail was one of the people that asked about it. And I know last week people were asking in the chat and leaving comments during the week. So Gail said she's considering ordering the beet juice and the spin juice. And let's see. Oh, she wanted to know how I make it because I don't do the exact ratios that they do. So yeah, thank you for asking about it. So what we're talking about is Spin Boost and Beet Boost. Where do I want these to be? Here?
Yeah, you're good.
I'm good.
And then you've got your
And then I've got one, yeah. So this is what we're talking about. This is from the NutriGardens company. And this is what mine looks like when I mix it up. So for the Beet Boost, it does say 1 tablespoon to 8 ounces of water. This is probably more like 16 to 20 ounces of water with 1 tablespoon. So I fill this about a third full of water. I add 1 tablespoon to it, and then I use my Aerolatte little blender. And I just like to do this because I don't get any residue in the bottom of the glass when I do that. And so this just spins and it's for frothing milk for coffee drinks, but I use it to blend this really well and mix it up, and it does a great job. I add a bunch of ice to it. You can throw in, if you want lime or lemon wedge or any fruit, you could do that as well, but I just do water and ice cubes because I like to sip this over a period of a few hours. And so and I do that after I break my fast at lunchtime, but I wanted to mix it up for you guys so you could see what it looks like. So originally they just had the Beet Boost. Now, why do we drink it? Okay, it has ingredients in it that work together to support healthy circulation and to reduce inflammation after intense workout or just doing hard work like gardening and that kind of thing, which Tom's been doing a lot of. So the Beet Boost contains anthocyanin. It's a flavonoid found in plants, and that causes the red, the purple, the blue, or the black coloring of those deeply intense, colorful fruits. And it's full of antioxidant compounds. It helps reduce inflammation, and it enhances nitric oxide release. Now, Spin Boost is just a little bit different. It boosts the nitric oxide production, that's a molecule that's found throughout our bodies. It relaxes our blood vessels, it improves our circulation, and it is an antioxidant. Nitric oxide has a profound impact on our heart health as well. They shorten it to NO. So the NO, nitric oxide, is vital for optimal blood flow and ensures the delivery of essential nutrients throughout our bodies. Combined nitric oxide and the anthocyanin helps increase oxygen, reduces lactic acid, which helps with our physical performance if we're going to go hiking, running, biking, playing tennis, whatever it might be. And it also helps us have an optimal recovery. As we age, which many of us are aging, which is a good thing, nitric oxide production decreases. Our blood vessels become less flexible, which reduces circulation. So that's why, like Dr. Esselstyn, for his heart patients, he tells them that they should eat dark leafy greens 6 times a day, a handful of cooked with a drizzle of vinegar, because those dark leafy greens also help increase the production of NO. And that would be like kale, spinach, Swiss chard, arugula, beet greens, beets, bok choy, collard greens, mustard greens, Napa cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, cilantro, parsley, asparagus. Any of those with a few drops of vinegar 6 times a day. If you're not the kind of person that's going to do that 6 times a day, then these can be a really nice option for you. So the Spin Boost is 2 tablespoons of powder with 8 ounces of water. So when Tom and I were on our hiking trip, that's what we would do. We would drink this in the hotel before we would head out to go hiking. And we would mix it with water. We took our little Aero Latte and we would mix it up in a cup, and then we would drink that. So I started using it to help with inflammation from all of my sciatic nerve pain. And I also have osteoarthritis in my knees. And so I feel like it really does help me with the inflammation, and which when you reduce the inflammation, that helps reduce the pain. And so I do find that it's beneficial to me. We also thought that that the Spin Boost was very beneficial when we were doing very aggressive hiking on our vacation. We would go out and do hours of hiking, go back to the hotel, clean up, and then, you know, head out and go do some more sightseeing. And, you know, we did have some soreness just because of the elevation that we were covering. But, you know, we were able to go hiking every day. So, and I think that it helped with the recovery on that. And Tom's going to add, he's got a nice photo that he wants to share with you all. And he's going to add to the conversation. You know, Tom really loves science, and so he loves to see how everything works, and so he's got a nice
Well, just real
graphic.
briefly, and I actually showed this slide when you were kind of talking about
Oh, did you have it up?
the stuff. The bottom line on this is that the nitric oxide relaxes that inner endothelium, one cell thick layer inside your vascular system, and that causes the arteries to be able to dilate or relax and widen, thus improving blood flow to whatever you are, what part of your body you're demanding exercise from. So there's a lot more to it than that. Of course, there's all kinds of other, you know, biological reactions going on, but that's a thing they put up for that. There are some, I have some, Leslie and Christine, I do have your questions from before that we're going to come back to, but we've got
I do want a couple things about this too, though.
Okay, well, we've got a couple more questions about Beet Boost particular that
Okay, and we want to address the question about, is it organic?
Yeah, and that's one of the questions here about that. So, and I'll cruise these if you want to go ahead and talk about that one, and I'll go back.
Okay, so if you go to the NutriGardens website, and they have Q&A, and they talk about why this is not organic. So what they have found through testing is that the amount of NO in the beets,
Nitrous oxide.
yeah, nitric oxide, is not as great. Like, it can be like, I think it was 10 times less in the organically grown. So they purchase conventionally grown products for this, but they are very particular about how the products are grown. And the end result of it is they make sure that there's no oxalates, chemicals, or preservatives in the end product. But if they used organically grown, it would not have the level of NO that we would want. And so that's why they use conventionally grown. But go to the website, and there's a whole article all about it. And we did talk to, I just lost his name, the guy from
Rick Perry.
Rick Perry, the developer and the owner of it. And so we feel, you know, although we are like the rest of you, we want to eat organically grown produce, we feel confident that through all of his testing that this is an okay product to consume.
Yeah, one thing that I want to add to that, and this is where part of where Tammy's talking about on the website. Organic, to use the phrase organic, that's a very specific set of parameters, but they do talk about this being a very clean product. In terms of quality, NutriGardens, our ingredients are third-party tested to ensure you get the nutrients promised in every serving. We also make sure there are no oxalates, no chemicals, and no preservatives of any kind. Because they're using nitrogen to get that nitric oxide availability level up in the finished product, they're not able to use the organic label, but it doesn't mean that it's not natural or clean or healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get caught up in semantics on that. This question gets asked a lot and answered often, but the information on the website really kind of gets in it. Grown from the ground and locally made in the Pacific Northwest, high quality plant-based ingredients are gifts from Mother Nature. Clinical trials back the science behind them. There is a question on this, and I got to jump back to the other page here. When I drink the full strength dose, the 8-ounce dose of Beet Boost, I kind of get the same feeling reaction of like when I drink what's the grass, it's real expensive, the wheatgrass juice. You know, you drink that, or you drink a certain, you know, smoothie. You get this sense of feeling really good after your body just goes, yes, that was nice. So I get an energy from it, but I can't say that, you know, it takes about 20-25 minutes for the metabolic processes to engage, to actually start this endothelial cell reaction with the nitric oxide. But you know what? Tomorrow, when I do I've been doing massive remodeling of the front yard in the last couple of weeks. I should be drinking a good dose of this before I go out. You should. And so the question is, do we feel different when we take it? Since COVID hit, we haven't been as aggressive on some of our physical exercises out there, but I know I feel better really right away after I drink it, because it's very pleasing, satisfying to your system. You know,
look at what we did on vacation. Food. We hiked every day.
Yes.
We had where without this, we hike one day and then we feel like we need a recovery day.
Okay.
But with this, we were able to go on hikes every day.
And some days 2 hikes.
Yeah, and some days 2 hikes.
And you have the antioxidant factor going on there too, besides the endothelial cell reaction.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, and Tiffany says that she will say that Spin Boost does enhance her workout performance a bit in her experience. BH says, Dr. Esselson says not to use fluoride toothpaste or water with fluoride to help with nitric oxide. Do you follow this? We just started. I do use a toothpaste now that does not have fluoride in it. We do, our city water does have fluoride in it, but we also have filtered water, and I use the filtered water when I'm cooking, and that's also what we drink. And so we use the other to like wash the dishes and take a shower. And so Gail says, referring to Beet Boost for improvement in less inflammation. Yes.
Maria Green was asking also, to follow up to her performance question, do you like the taste of one over the other at this point?
I don't think I have a preference. Do you?
No.
So this one is really for people who are doing high performance. So this is what you want to do if you're doing like a
bicycle ride, a run, a hike.
Right.
Extensive yard work using shovels and jackhammers like I've been doing.
Yeah. This one is more like, I would say more like for the average person on an average day. Just to improve.
If you want to have a nice, healthy, refreshing drink in the morning to help your day go more smoothly.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I would say.
Okay.
What type of vinegar should be added to the greens? It can be any type of vinegar. So it can be a balsamic vinegar. It can be apple cider vinegar, whatever kind of vinegar you have.
Okay.
California balsamic.
All right. Are we done with the Beet Boost?
I think we are, unless there's anything in the chat feed.
Okay. We'll catch up with them as we go.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Because I got a couple of.
So I hope that helps you guys. I mean, it's an individual thing too. I think you have to try it and see what it does for you, and it's kind of an individual. It's an individual thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, there is a link in the show notes. We are affiliates of Beet Boost, but there's links in the show notes, and there is a 15% discount from Nutmeg Notebook as well. And you get that by going through our link, so I don't think you have to put in anything.
And I learned about this from John Pierre, and I had a couple consultations with him, and he did recommend it to me to use, and that's why I started using it.
You drink that and then you clean house like a mad woman. Okay.
Something like that.
All right.
Or do batch prepping for 2 hours.
Okay. Let's handle a couple of questions here.
Okay.
Leslie asked earlier at the beginning of the show, what do you plan besides salads for lunch? She's looking for some alternative foods besides just having a salad for lunch.
Well, it's not just a salad. So we have a whole course that we sell, a video course on the beautiful chopped salads, but and where we've gathered all of our information, put it together in a 12 video series. It's 2.5 hours of instruction that is broken down into pieces that you can watch at your leisure. You can go back and watch them anytime. And then you also get a this beautiful PDF full of recipes. It's an ebook that you can print. And this shows you all the different ways to make salads. I have 25 different salads ideas for you, and then all of the recipes for making the toppings, the dressings, all kinds of things. And so these aren't just salads, these are actually a meal. And Tom and I have been eating a salad for 1 meal a day since we adopted this lifestyle back in 2013. And people said, oh my gosh, don't you ever get tired of salads? Well, no, we don't, because oh my goodness, you guys, there's so many beautiful different ways that you can make salads. And so we make them as a meal. They are hearty. We add potatoes or some kind of starch. It could be rice. It could be oat groats, all kinds of things. We add fruit. We add vegetables. You can add a veggie burger. You can do so many amazing things, as you can see, with the salads that just make them incredible. And so this is a meal. It's an absolute meal. It's a huge bowl of food. It takes about 40 minutes to eat, and we absolutely love them. And so for both of us, Dr. Furman says, remember that salad is the main dish. And he does still recommend all these years later that everybody have a great big salad for 1 meal a day. But you have to add other things to it to make it hearty and filling and to sustain you. And I teach you how to do that. Also, we have a lot of videos as well showing how to make batch prepped salads.
Free videos on the channel.
We have free videos as well to show you how to make those salads and how to turn them into a meal. And we love our salads. Like a lot of times, if I have that chopped salad for lunch, like yesterday, we ate lunch late because we had the grandkids here and we always feed them first. And by the end of the day, I was still full. By the time dinner rolled around, I was still full, and I just had some fruit because my salad is so satisfying and so filling. And so then Tom's other meal oftentimes is his dump soup, and that's in video number live 26. Is that what you said the other day?
Just Google Nutmeg Notebook dump soup.
Yeah, Google Nutmeg Notebook dump soup. And so Tom often has that, or the other meal can be, I love just making a bowl of food, greens, grains, and beans.
Yesterday was, for me, because I worked all morning outside, I was kind of too tired to put the dump soup together. So I reheated your homemade pinto beans and a cup of rice and a half a cup of corn and some green salsa verde on it. And I made some salt-free, oil-free corn chips in the Breville. And that was my whole lunch. And it was absolutely delicious. Kind of my lazy way out because, everything was prepared. I just had to heat it up. I didn't have to chop and slice and dice like I do with dump soup. But I love my dump soup too. So.
Right, so we'll either have a bowl with different things in it, or a soup that I have already made and frozen, or chili, or veggie burgers, or the mini barbecue lentil loaves. Just go to our blog and look there. We've also done what we eat in a day videos. I think we have 1 or 2 of those. And if you follow me on Instagram as Nutmeg Notebook.
I was going to mention that for Leslie on the salads too. You have a lot of inspirational variations on a theme in your Instagram, which would serves Leslie's question well.
Right. And then you can see I'm posting all the time different things that we make and eat. And we really like just combining ingredients like Tom did yesterday, just pulling things together and putting them in a bowl and eating that. My po nachos, we have a video for that, and that's using air fried potatoes instead of chips, and then adding like taco toppings.
Yeah. Yesterday was a fast food day for me. And you know what?
Explain though, when you say fast food, people are thinking McDonald's.
That's what I was going to say next. When I said, you know what? Today was a fast food day. Yesterday was a fast food day for me. Had I still been on the standard American diet and, was fairly, wiped out from a rather aggressive work morning with literally pickaxes and shovels and rakes and hoes and jackhammers. It would have been a run to like the local Taco Bell or something. But I didn't have to do that because I had delicious salsa verde, beans, rice, and corn chips already here in our fast food refrigerator of whole food plant-based fast food. And so all this batch prepping and stuff, we did our live the other day, fills the refrigerator with food that is fast and ready to go. And so how many thousands of calories and pounds of fat do I not consume because I've got our plant-based fast food already in the refrigerator? So that's really a magic bullet, if there is one, is to have those prepared foods. And if Tami doesn't have fresh beans, she makes the pinto beans. If I'm in the mood for black beans, we get the no salt black beans in the can, and I will eat a half a can of those for each meal. So that's another common thing for me.
Yeah.
So
we have our pantry, refrigerator, and freezer are stocked. And so we always have something to eat, whether we have cooked or not. And an easy thing is, you can microwave a potato, a sweet potato, a baked potato. I mean, I prefer them to be cooked in the oven, but you can microwave it. You can open a can of no salt added beans and some frozen corn and then put some salsa on it, and you've got a meal.
Since we're talking about eating, let's get to Christine Tubito's question about food. But before we jump into that, Christine, I hope you're still with us. Thank you for being patient. We got an email from our lady at VitaMix. I don't know if we call her our handler, our agent, our manager. The nice lady,
Michelle.
She's very nice at VitaMix. She's very informative. We got a heads up from her that there is a 2-day only deep discount on the conventional standard Model 7500 VitaMix. It's the one that our daughter has. It's got the 2.2 horsepower base. I included it in our newsletter yesterday that I sent out from nutmegnotebook.com, and it's only $2.99. It's like $169 off or something.
200 and something off.
Yeah, it's a huge discount.
I've never seen it discounted.
It's a huge
like this.
discount for that product, and so they asked us to share that with everybody because we always are talking about our awesome premium top of the line VitaMix blenders. This is a very solid standard, still blends everything at high speed you need it to. Very reliable VitaMix blender, and if the price of the fancy ones just kept you out of the high speed blender market, the high speed blender market.
Say that fast 3 times,
Then
Tom.
they're offering this up to maybe help out with that. So it's in the show notes. Check out the link. It was in our newsletter yesterday. VitaMix Model 7500. Our daughter is very happy with hers.
Yeah. She's had hers for a couple of years,
Yeah.
and she, made baby food with it and purees everything, chops everything. It does great. I do want to point out that it is one of the models that does not have the
It doesn't have the self-detect.
Self-detect.
And I made mention of that in the newsletter.
which just means that you can't use the
food
food processor attachment on it. So if you already have a food processor and you don't think that eventually you would want the VitaMix food processor, then it is a great
This is a
deal.
fine, yeah.
But
Okay.
because I talk so much about the food processor attachment, I don't want people to think that if they buy it that they'll be able to use that model that's on
Right.
sale for the food processor attachment as well.
Okay, so Christine, the talk of beans made me think about this. Christine is new to plant-based, has been eating a big salad but no beans, and is asking about protein. And Jesse, thank you for responding to her on a couple of posts already, but I just wanted to bring this up for everybody. Is there protein in the salad with all the veggies? For instance, she used spinach, kale, spring lettuce, potatoes, etc. Jesse did respond that if you're getting enough calories during the day, then you're getting enough protein. The comment that I would make is, all protein comes from plants. For people that don't follow a vegan diet, that think that they're depending on animal products for protein, the animals that they're consuming eat grass to get the protein. So we're getting it directly from the source when we eat good food. And Jesse hit the nail on the head. The bigger question is, are you getting enough calories? Because protein literally is in everything. Spinach has protein. Lettuce has protein. Of course, we know beans have a lot of protein. If it was
potatoes have protein.
Potatoes have protein. Protein is a building block in all living things. So it's there. That's where animals get their protein. Gorillas are vegan, and they live in the jungle, and they get huge, and they get strong, and they eat plants.
It's a very common question, and it's a very good question to ask when you've just gone plant-based, because we were taught as little kids in school that, here's the different food groups, and one food group was protein. Well, really, protein
is not a food group.
Is not a food group, because protein is in everything. Look on the back of if you buy a package of spinach or super greens or something, look on the back of the package and look, there's protein in it.
Yeah, Dr. Neil Barnard mentioned in one of his lectures that his committee was involved in helping the FDA develop the current
food pyramid.
It's a food plate now, because they did away with the pyramid.
Yes.
And they explained to the government that they didn't need, at least it says protein now. It used to say meat, but now it just says protein. But they still insist on it being a category. Their recommendation was actually to have it not be a category, because protein is universal to all categories.
So if you are concerned about it, one thing that you can do just to set your mind to ease is you can use one of the free online calculators. Like, I'm thinking Chronometer, and there's like apps that you can get where you can plug in your food, and then it will tell you your nutrients. Mm-hmm. And then, that makes some people feel better about it, because then at the end of the day, they can look at it and they can see, oh my goodness. Yeah. But a protein deficiency in the United States is not something that the doctors see. And I know Chef AJ has asked many of the doctors that she has interviewed over the years, have you ever had a patient with a protein deficiency? And not one of them has ever said yes.
That's not a thing in the United States.
It is not a thing. It's not a thing here. And Jesse's right. As long as we're getting enough calories and we're able to do all the things that we're doing, then we are most certainly getting enough protein. And you don't have to eat legumes in order to get your protein. If you don't have a sensitivity to them, then we definitely should include them. A cup a day is highly recommended to have. But I know for myself, I've had different, after going on some antibiotics, my gut just couldn't handle eating legumes, and I had to lay off of them for a while. And, so I just had more grains than just to substitute for those calories. So great question. Thank you for asking that. What do you have, Tom?
The banana question has continued a thread throughout the chat. Judy, your friend Judy, has been participating in that. So hello, Judy.
Judy Wood?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, Judy.
The wrap around the top of the bananas, people are wondering if that isn't put on there to prevent them from ripening. I just thought it was when they first take the machete and cut those apart,
They don't want you pulling them apart.
They ooze juice, and so I thought that they just were wrapping that so that they don't leak juice on other bananas in the box. But it might make sense that holds the stem juices in and keeps it more stable. Judy is saying that once the bananas are starting to ripen, you can put them in the fridge. The skin continues to turn brown or even accelerates in there, but the inside will stay whiter.
Good to know.
So we should experiment and give that a try.
Yeah.
So that that was up a little bit earlier in the thread.
Somebody's mentioning Fitness Pal. That's a free app that you can use.
Below Dr. Esselstyn's question was a question from Gil Greco here in the chat feed, back on the Beet Boost.
Yeah.
Referring to Beet Boost, improvement in less inflammation. Well, I know the Spin Boost has they've increased the antioxidant properties in that one. They both have antioxidant properties which reduce inflammation. So as a general conversation, yes, they would reduce inflammation.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if they talk about that. They do talk about inflammation reduction in some of the scientific stuff with regard to nitric oxide as a metabolic process. They're not, of course, talking about any particular product there.
And turmeric also is good for reducing inflammation. So you want about a quarter teaspoon of turmeric powder or fresh turmeric and about a quarter teaspoon of black pepper, because that helps it being absorbed in your body. So I have made my own supplements, which is cheaper than buying them. And you can buy the vegan little empty capsules and then and a little tray for filling them. But I've gotten lazy, and so now I just like to buy them. But turmeric is also good for reducing inflammation. There's, and then of course, just our regular diet that we eat is also good for reducing inflammation. But if you have pain, an injury or whatever, the way the body deals with that is to, hold on to liquid, which is water, around that area that is damaged or hurt. That creates the inflammation. So sometimes just the healthy diet that we have isn't enough. Sometimes we need a little extra help, because I know people have said, well, how can you have inflammation the way you eat? Well, if I have an injury, if there's something in my body that isn't going right, then that's how the body deals with it.
Kind of going back to everything is an experiment of one. Sherry is bringing up on the protein conversation that we should be careful making statements about getting enough protein if you're getting enough calories, referencing Dr. Joel Furman's recent conversations about talking about protein deficiency in older vegans. We need to be open to new information. Well, no argument there whatsoever. Have we caught a little bit of that conversation from him?
It can be difficult. We have noticed, we have friends who are in their 80s, and when we get together, we have noticed that the volume of food they eat is vastly
less than what we eat.
And so, so you're right, that could be a concern with the older adults getting enough, because they eat such a smaller volume of food. So in that case, what would be good would be like for a smoothie for them, or doing something that would be easy to eat, where they can pack in more calories.
And more protein with them.
Right. So a piece of avocado thrown in with that, or if they don't have a heart condition, a tablespoon of some kind of nut butter would be good, or that kind of thing. But for somebody younger who's healthy and eating a normal amount of food,
9-cup
container of
Ziploc
salad
container, with 8 ounces of beans and a cup of rice and at least a half a cup, if not 2/3 a cup of corn, and all kinds of dark green leafy vegetables. I add 4 celery stalks. It's got the Brussels sprouts in there. And if I'm using one of your dressings, if I'm using one of Tammy's prepared dressings, then I'm getting a whole bunch of other calorie and protein ingredients there.
Absolutely, because those
Yeah.
creamy ones are made with tofu. So
Yeah.
for the older adults, you kind of want to eat like how we feed the grandkids. The grandkids eat, they have tiny tummies. And so they're eating a smaller amount of food. So what we try to do is we try to pack a lot of calories and protein into the small amount of food that they're eating. My daughter has a recipe for these muffins that have lentils in them, and it's a food plan that she bought for feeding families. And so I can't share the recipe with you guys, but it has, like 2 cups of lentils in 24 muffins, because we're trying to pack in as much nutrition in those muffins as we can, because they're going to eat that muffin and a little bit of fruit and they're going to be full. And so my quinoa banana oat muffins, I use quinoa in those because quinoa has a lot of protein in it, and we can put that in the muffins and increase the amount of protein and nutrition that is in those muffins. And so it's kind of the same concept. And we give the kids nut butters. And if I make them a smoothie, I add either avocado or hemp seeds or a combination of all of these things, or nut butter in with the smoothie, just to increase the amount of nutrients and protein that are in it, just to make it more calorically rich.
Okay, on the conversation, I actually saw I saw a piece, this is ringing a bell, of an interview he did when he was talking about patients that he's been tracking for some time, and he's noticing as they get older that they're coming up short on protein intake or level. I'd have to go back and rewatch that to be sure. But I kind of vaguely remember that he's.
Are we talking about Dr. Furman?
Yeah,
he's
continuing. Was it the NHA lecture he did?
What he said
Yeah.
they were short on was omega-3s.
Okay.
He said that he was discovering that they were short on omega-3s.
Yeah. So Sherry, was that from the NHA conference?
And I can't remember what else. I'd have to watch it again as well.
And also, folks, there's a comment from Sherry that if people take a really militant approach to what they allow as intake, that they can wind up shortchanging themselves. I would say we don't fall into that category.
What was it again? I'm sorry, I was reading.
Being militant about restricting what you will accept as intake of food. Like absolutely no nuts, which of course have a lot of protein.
Well, I think it depends on where you're at in your journey too. So certainly when I was in the weight loss phase, I was eating a much stricter diet than I am now. Mm-hmm. Now I've been maintaining my weight since 2015, so that's 7 years now. So now I will eat something that has a little bit of nuts in it now and then. I do eat tofu now. I didn't eat that while I was in the weight loss phase. So I will eat condiments that have salt in them now. I didn't during the weight loss phase. And so, and I also wasn't using nuts and seeds during that now. And now I'm having flax every day. That's something that I learned from Sia. And I'm having flax every day. I'm eating Brazil nuts. I'm eating some pumpkin seeds. So I've incorporated some of those things into my salads.
Right.
And having those. But during the weight loss phase, because it was so hard for me to lose weight because of my thyroid issues, I had to adhere to a much stricter food protocol in order to break through and be able to lose the weight.
Yeah.
And then I kept eating that way for years in order to maintain it. And now I feel like I have a little bit of leeway, where I can add some of those things back in. And one thing that I've discovered by having the ground flax in my salad and having some of the pumpkin seeds is it's super filling. And I think since I've started doing that, that's why a lot of times I don't end up eating dinner, because my salad was so filling that, my body's saying, hey, we got enough. You had 30
and nutritious across a broad spectrum.
Yeah, you had 30 different plants in that salad and all these nutrients, and we got everything we need.
Yeah. So, well, kind of, Sherry, back on that conversation, given the broad spectrum of food that we eat, and because we're not militant about what's in the ingredients, we don't worry for ourselves in this phase of life about getting enough protein. We know that we're getting plenty of protein.
Yeah.
That conversation kind of comes up when people are on the front end of meeting a significant weight loss challenge, and we explain if you're getting enough calories during your weight loss, you're really not needing to make excuses to go off plan to go stock up on protein. That there is protein in all the food, as we stated earlier. But certainly, as you go through life, you need to keep everything in balance, and not take any extreme militant approach to it. So,
and you can always have a consultation with a plant-based registered dietitian as well, or one of the plant-based doctors. Keep a food journal, and you can get your blood work checked, which I recently had mine checked, and you can get checked for all of these things that we're talking about. I got protein and my B12 and my vitamin D, and so you can get tested for these things to see how you're doing as well.
What was the name of the gal that spoke at the nutrition gal that spoke at NHA
Brenda Davis?
Yeah, she probably has good information on that subject as well.
I'm sure, yeah.
So, okay. All right.
What else do you have?
Okay, well, we took Christine's question evolved into a good conversation. So, but I'm going to mark that.
So I have a question or a statement here from Marie.
Yeah, I'm caught up over here. So if you've got something.
Marie says, I need to worry about losing weight. So when I eat big salads, I lose weight I don't want to lose. Yet I know I need my greens. Well, you could try eating them cooked. Because you can think about a pound of spinach that you cook, and it cooks down to like a cup or two. So you could do that as a different way to get your greens in. You can also pack them into a smoothie, and then maybe you need to have some of the higher fat ingredients in there so that you don't lose weight. Because I know that can be an issue for some people. So just, have some of the healthier but yet higher calorie density foods, tofu, avocado, nuts, and seeds, and see if that helps. Tammy says, do you prefer the beet juice over a smoothie? I'm not a smoothie person. Those are kind of a breakfast kind of thing, I guess, and I don't eat breakfast because I'm not hungry in the morning, and so my first meal of the day is my lunch, and smoothies are sweet, and I really want something that is more savory. So I think that the Beet Boost is 50 calories. Let's see. Oh, the Beet Boost is 36 calories for a tablespoon, and the Spin Boost is 52 calories. So these would not be a substitute for a meal. And I would say that most smoothies with fruit are probably more in the 450 to 600 calorie range for a smoothie, depending on how much fruit you're putting in them, hemp seeds, flax, etc. If you're using soy milk or juice or what have you. And so these would not compare to a smoothie calorically or nutritionally. So these I would think of more as like a supplement. Marie says, I frequently have steamed broccoli but haven't gotten around to cooking kale, etc. Yeah, try it because they're so delicious. You can throw them in a skillet, you can steam them, you can microwave them, add a little bit of vinegar to them, to the greens, and they're absolutely delicious. And you can get a large volume of them in once they're cooked, and they're not going to take up as much room in your stomach, but you're still going to benefit. And when we're talking raw versus cooked, all of the doctors that I've heard talk, all of the plant-based registered dietitians that I've heard talk, have all talked about making sure that we're getting a combination of both cooked and raw, because there's some things that are more beneficial once they've been cooked, and then there's some things that lose some of their nutrition when they're cooked. So we don't need to get too hung up on that and what's the right balance. Just have variety. Just make sure we're getting variety. So Marguerite says, what do you eat at catered events like a wedding? What size jar is Tammy's Beet Boost drinking jar, and is it a ball jar? It is a ball jar, and I'm thinking that this is like 2 cups, maybe?
Yeah.
It looks like it's about maybe 2 cups.
It's more than a pint, you think? Yeah, it's a pint. Is that not a pint?
I don't know.
It's bigger than a pint.
It might be 20 ounces or so. I don't know. It doesn't say on it. I did measure it one time, but I think it's about 20 ounces or so. I think it's a little bit bigger than the 2 cups. Okay, so if gosh, we haven't been to a wedding in years and years.
What's the question?
What do you eat at catered events? So if you just have to know, even if they have vegan options, the vegan options are going to have oil, salt, and sugar in them. And so, usually there is like a salad, and I'm not opposed to taking my own potato and a container of beans and adding that to a salad. But we haven't been to a wedding in years. I would pre-eat. Honestly, I would eat food on my way to the event so that I wouldn't be starving, and then I would just focus on socializing with everyone. And then if there is a salad, eat the salad, and skip the rest of it. Have something in the car in a cooler that I know I can have afterwards. If it's a close relative and they know that you adhere to a certain type of diet, you might be able to have them make arrangements, but I wouldn't make a fuss over it because it's one meal, and you're there for the bride and groom, and you're not there for the food. So that's kind of my take on things. I just know that wherever we go, whatever we do, I'm responsible to make sure that I have food for me. And so, I'm fine pre-eating or having something in the car that I know I can go out to the car and have on the way home. Let's see.
Tracy Reese is next.
Have you tried Tocino coffee alternative? Yes, I have. There's a hazelnut flavor I like, and a chocolate one, and something else. And those are pretty good. I think they're pretty good. I buy them at Whole Foods, but they also have them on Amazon. And most health food stores also carry them, and you might even find them in the tea and coffee aisle of some grocery stores.
Oh, on that wedding thing, you didn't mention PIP.
A potato in your pocket, yeah.
Or purse.
Absolutely. And Tom and I are known for having potatoes with us a lot of places that we go. And I'm not too embarrassed to break out my own food sitting at a table with other people. And, if they ask questions, I'll tell them, but I just don't make a big deal out of it. And I think now, people are so used to other people having, food allergies or, food restrictions and that kind of thing. And I just think, people who have food allergies, our grandson has some food allergies, our daughter has food allergies. If you have food allergies, you don't eat what's put before you just to be polite and not make a scene or not embarrass yourself, right? Because it's a matter of life and death. And so I kind of feel like, what I eat is also a matter of life and death. And because I don't eat food that has oil in it, if I eat something that someone has prepared that is laden with oil, it is going to make me sick, because my body does not know how to handle that. If I eat something that's made with a ton of sugar, I am going to get sick because my body is not used to that. And so, I just wouldn't make a big deal out of it. You can always tell people, oh, I'm fasting today, or whatever it is, or, we had a big lunch and I'm not hungry right now, whatever it is. But I never feel like I have to eat something to please somebody and not offend them, because I have to put my health first over somebody being offended. And Gail says, yes, I've often taken a Japanese sweet potato with me to restaurants. Yeah, sometimes I air fry potatoes, or I make my Japanese sweet potato croutons, and I'll put those in a container in my purse to add to a salad. Sometimes I'll take beans in a little container to add to a restaurant salad. Sometimes we'll just air fry some potatoes. We don't even care if they're hot. They can be cold in a bag in my purse, and we'll pull those out and eat them, because a potato can be very filling and satisfying, and take away any hunger that you might have. Jessie says, as far as eating at special events, I always remind myself that I will not starve, and that at fun events, no one is going to be focused on what I do or don't eat. That is so true, Jessie. That is very true. And I think I learned from doing a couple of modified intermittent fastings with Sia from 60 Living, and Tiffany can probably comment about this as well, is that what you learn is hunger is not an emergency, and I am not going to die if I don't eat. I mean, I have gone 34 hours on just water, and I know people go to True North and they go for weeks and on just water, and they do just fine. And so now I just remind myself that it's pretty easy to skip one meal.
And Judy's saying here she pre-eats before events now.
Oh, awesome. I missed that, Jude.
Just above Tracy Reese, above the Tocino. Judy says,
oh yeah, I pre-eat a lot of times before an event. Otherwise, too many temptations if you're starving. That is so true. And so we want to set ourselves up for success so that we don't cave. And then, like a lot of times, I make sure that I know they're going to have cake or dessert or whatever. And so I will make sure that I have something special waiting for me at home. I'll make my chocolate chia pudding, or my chocolate cherry brownies, or the peanut butter chocolate chip blondies, or, one of my special treats, banana ice cream, or a big bowl of fresh watermelon, which is my go-to right now. I'll make sure that I know that I have something waiting for me, either in the car or at home, and that I don't need to have whatever it is they're offering. Okay, great. All right. Jessie says ditto for long plane trips, which we haven't done in a while, but we used to do cross-country flights followed by long drives to our destination, and we just didn't eat. Yeah, it's easy to do that. And nowadays too, though, you guys, you can pack food. Watch we did a road trip video where we talked about it, and when we were on vacation, I made a couple of reels And, you know, you can just take healthy food with you on the plane. When we went to Greece, we packed food and took it with us. And we did fine flying there. And it was like, 17 hours or something like that of being on the planes. And, you know, we didn't have to compromise the way that we eat. So, what is it that my grandma used to say? Where there's a will, there's a way. So if you want to do something bad enough, you'll figure out a way to do it. And if not, you'll find an excuse. I read that one on the blackboard for the employees at the courtesy desk at Whole Foods one time. And I thought, oh, I love that. That's great. Are you coming back on so you can,
Yeah, I think
so
we're pretty much
chat?
caught up, aren't we?
I think as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned, we
Yeah,
are.
It's
So
10:20, so we,
okay. I hope we answered everybody's questions
Yeah.
today. And thanks for submitting questions, you guys. These were awesome questions. I loved all the chat, and everybody's advice in the chat feed was awesome. So, what else do you have to add? Did we talk about everything that we needed to talk about today?
I think so.
I think we did.
yeah.
Check my notes here. I think we did. Okay, we did good.
Yeah. So we'll probably have the same format next week again.
I think so.
Yeah, so if you have questions, go ahead and email them in to Tami at nutmegnotebook.com, and then we'll save them for showtime next Thursday. We will not be addressing them on our Tuesday Amazon live show because that will be all about pots and pans and vacuum cleaners and air fryers or whatever matches. You know, if it's on the Amazon list and it's in this house, then we're probably going to talk about it. So
it could be
as long as it's
interesting.
not too big. So
Yeah.
anyway, and I haven't done that homework yet, but I do have some emails from some of you on things to check. I will be checking those. Thank you for getting those in. Some folks emailed me things to look for on the list that they were specifically interested in, and then if they're on the list, I will bring them up. So.
Awesome.
So we'll see where that leads us. Other than that, yeah, I could go plant some more. I could get those 3 I bought Tami 3 rosemary. They're not bushes because they grow low.
This particular one
It's
is
a
more
trailing rosemary.
a trailing rosemary.
So we have this stone wall I built a couple years ago, and we're going to have it trail down the stone wall because the stone wall, although well made, is not beautiful. So
I thought it turned out really nice.
it's well made.
Well, we don't get to see it anyway because of where it's located.
Yeah, it's towards the nature preserve. So
yeah, but I think that'll.
yeah, we just get
look
to
good.
see the little 3 feet at the top. So I'll get those maybe planted.
Okay, great.
All right.
Well, I think that's it for today then. Thank you, Jesse and Tiffany. I think Tiffany may have bugged out. She had to take her children to an appointment. But Jesse, Tiffany, thank you for showing up today and moderating for us and helping with all the wonderful questions in the chat feed. And thank you guys for showing up.
Thomas Allen is saying adieu, parting is such sweet sorrow.
It is. It's hard. Do you see? It's like hanging up the phone. It's hard to say goodbye.
Oh, Thomas, I put Gilroy garlic on my salad last night. Oh my God. It was one of those times where I just had to do another extra half a tablespoon after the first 2.
I saw that too.
You saw it? I put 2 in there and drizzled them because I had really beefed it up with, or expanded it. That's a bad phrase, beefing it up.
Yeah, we have to think of a new one.
I beaned up my salad.
You beamed it up.
I beaned it up and riced it up and corn and celery, and then I added a bunch of sprouts that Tami had because we're going shopping probably later today, and I wanted to use up those sprouts before they went bad. And it just was calling for an extra half a tablespoon of Gilroy garlic, and then I licked the spoon.
Then you licked the spoon. I saw that too.
That was so good. So anyway, yeah, makes me totally feel like a bad person, which is great. So
you like feeling like you're naughty, huh?
Yeah.
You've got that naughty gene.
Okay.
I think you've got a naughty
California
gene.
Malls makes love it.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't liked our video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And if you want to get notifications when we are going live or have a new video up, there's 2 ways to do that. One is to tap on the bell that is underneath the video. There's a little icon for a bell.
If your device supports that.
If
If you're
your
watching on
device-
TV, you won't see the bell.
Okay. tap that, and that will get you set up for notifications. YouTube will actually send you a notification whenever we have a new video up or we're going live. Or you can go to nutmegnotebook.com and you can subscribe, and that puts you on our email list. It's free, and we try not to spam you. You might get one, maybe 2 emails a week.
Yeah, that won't give you a Nutmeg Notebook YouTube notification. That will get you on the email list for upcoming shows and for blog posts.
And we usually send a recipe, a link to a recipe every week, and then things like the VitaMix going on sale or any promotions that any of our vendors that we use have. We try to inform you of that as well.
Yeah, if I know a number of you watch the show on your smart TVs, and you don't have all of the click options, so you can go to your computer and just manually, log into YouTube and search Nutmeg Notebook and find any video, anything from the library, and open it and click on the bell there, and then you'll get those YouTube notifications pop up on your smartphone. Then you can run to your TV, because like Tuesday, was it day before yesterday, we did the live, completely unscheduled. We didn't know we were going to do that show in the morning.
Nope.
It just happened.
It just organically happened.
Yeah, so that's
and then the people who are subscribers that have clicked on notifications were the ones that got to see it live. Right. But a lot of people watched the replay as well, which is great. And then you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook as well. I have accounts there as Nutmeg Notebook, and that's where I post pictures all the time of the food we eat. So if you're curious about what do Tom and Tammy eat, go there. And I think Instagram's easier because the pictures are all right there. And then if you tap on the picture, then you get a description, because I always write a description and give you a link if there is a link to the recipes.
Yeah. So in terms of what we eat, the Beet Boost links are down below in the show notes. California Balsamic link is down below in the show notes. But I list our family of whole food plant-based supporting vendors typically every week in the show notes as a convenience. So they're there. All right, Miss Tammy.
Yes. Mona wants to know, is there a time limit for emails? We are usually busy the hour before we go live. We go live at 9, and so from like 8 o'clock on, we are very busy.
Pacific time,
yeah. We are very busy doing the setup. Like, you guys can't see what all is here, but we have lights, and we have 2 cameras, and there's a boom with a microphone over the top, and Tom has 2 computers over here to his left, and a great big like TV monitor, and we have wires going everywhere. So the hour before we go live, we don't have time to check the emails because we're very busy.
Yeah, if it's that late, go ahead and drop it into the chat. But the folks that do have questions, that email to us the night before or early the morning of, or the days before. Some of these came in a few days ago, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, if you want to send in a question for next week, send it, and then we will.
And if I find something that's in there that came in right before we went live, I'll save it for the next.
Oh, if it missed the boat.
If I
we'll
didn't
put it on
see
the next boat.
Yeah, then we'll put it on the next boat, as Tom says.
Okay.
Yeah, and that works.
Okay.
So, but yeah, all right.
Yeah, Jeanette, watch the replay. We'll be happy to have you here for the replay. She just jumped in, so just in time to say goodbye.
Okay. I'm Tammy.
And I'm Tom.
And we help you get healthy and stay healthy, one meal at a time. Have a great week, you guys. We'll see you back here next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.